One of the challenges of running a special event is trying to coordinate volunteers. I'm going to show you how you can use a spreadsheet to quickly assign positions to different individuals, as well as get a count of how many positions have been assigned, making it really easy for you to go in and get to your limits quite quickly. Let's take a look at my spreadsheet. I have 3 tabs at the bottom. The first one is my notes. This is to let people know what I'm kind of doing, the instructions that they may need, handy links, also letting them know what add-ons I'm actually making use of in my sheet. The second one is Form Responses 1. This is the data that gets fed in from my spreadsheet. And we'll come back to this a bit when we start assigning duties. The last tab is my choice list. These are all the different choices that are either going to be in the drop-down menu or within the choices on my form. Now I've got my positions and my duties. I also need to identify how many of those positions I'm going to be looking at. I also have a column here called Count. That's going to go and take a look at the number of positions that I have assigned, so I can keep track of how many positions do I need versus how many have I assigned already. Let's start off with something easy, which is basically creating the drop-down menu for our assignments. To do this, we're going to use data validation. Now, before I do the data validation setup, what I want to do is use what's something called named ranges. Named ranges is great because it refers to a set of cells that I'm going to be constantly using. This is really handy if I'm using the same set of cells in a number of different spreadsheets, or if that list of cells ends up growing. I don't have to go through a number of sheets to expand on it. I'm just going to use the named range. So let's start by selecting this column area here. Go under Data. We're going to find named ranges. And we're going to call this one Positions. So Positions refers to the choices sheet, cells B2 through B17. Now let's go to our form responses. I'm going to go in here under the assigned position, because we see here, these are the positions they've requested. We select the column, go under Data to Data Validation. Now you can do a list of ranges, and people will often put in the sheet whatever, but instead we've actually already given it a name. So we can just put in the word positions. Anytime you see positions, it's referring to our choices B2 through B17. And now when I click on this, I can see that list there. Anytime I need to add more to it, I just add it here, and it shows up here in the list. Makes it a lot easier for you to manage your information that way. As I mentioned before, we've got 2 positions here. What we're going to do though is we want to, instead of having to try and track it, is we want this count here to go here into this column, find out all the different positions here, check-in hosts, and actually total them up here. Here's how we do it. We're going to use a formula called COUNTIF. When you get this, you can just click on this. It says, what is the range that we want to look at? So what is the range that we're going to search? In this case, it's going to be this range here, so assign positions. So we can just select this. Go back to our choices. Put a comma in. What is the criteria? Well, the criteria in this case is check-in host, because that's what we're looking for. Do a count. Close bracket, hit enter. We have 2 of those. I'm just going to fill down on all the positions that I've used here, and I can see we have 1 greeter, 2 check-in. Let's take a look. Sure enough, 1 greeter, 2 check-in. If I was to change this to something else, it automatically updates on here. This is now a handy way for us to go through and make sure that we have assigned only the number of positions that we need. To make things easier as we go through and assign positions, I want to add conditional formatting. Conditional formatting will tell us when we have matched the number of positions we have, or if we've gone over it. Here's how I do it. First, I'm going to highlight the information that I'm interested in changing colors. I'm going to go under my format here to conditional formatting. By default, the format if statement is cell is not empty. Well, we don't care about that because they're all going to have something in them. What we're going to do instead is go to custom formula. And we're going to paste this formula in here. The formula basically reads, if anything in E2 through E4, which is these cells, is equal to D2 through D4, I want it to turn green. We can see that works here quite well. The 2 and the 2 match up. Let's add another rule. Same fields, but this time we're going to put in a greater than sign. This means anytime that a cell in E, or where we've assigned positions, is higher than what the number of positions we have, I want that to be red. So let's take a look. So I'm going to take this greeter position, put it into check-in host. We now have 3 positions where we only want 2. It's gone red to let us know that that's not good. I can go back into here, decide I'm going to change one of these, and we're all good here. When you're ready to assign position, the trick is to take this file and put it into 2 separate windows. You can see here I've got actually the same file, but they have different tabs that they're focusing on. So I can still work within this, assign it everything, and as things get assigned, they get updated in the other side. This makes it really easy for me as I go in and start assigning positions.